Hello, my name is Katalina Kivinen and this is video for the course Software Quality Assurance and Testing. In this video I'm going to show how to set up the environment for application testing and we'll perform some example tests on a simple Angular JS demo project. Here you can see the project with some HTML layout. I've used some Bootstrap content CSS and here you can see Angular JS scripts. And in here in the scene file there is Angular controller with some functions we are going to test. For the application testing we would need npm models Jasmine, Karma Jasmine and Karma Chrome Launcher. Let's install them within the project. So in the command prompt we move to the project folder and in here I'm going to type npm install save the Jasmine. This command can install Jasmine in the project folder, and to use this command installation we need to have npm installed and Node.js. So without those, it's not going to work. So next we're going to install Karma. And Karma is installing. And the next one is going to be Karma Jasmine, which is adapter for integration Jasmine and Karma. Even though Karma Jasmine says that this plugin should be a part of Karma by default, apparently it's not really, so it needs to be installed separately. Using the break, I could tell that Jasmine is a framework for writing tests in JavaScript. And it has pretty simple DDD syntaxes and a lot of different possibilities. And pretty much Jasmine is can be used without any other frameworks, and this framework is enough to use tests under Node without any other functions. Okay, so Karma is installed. Now we need to install Karma Jasmine. And Karma Test Runner is used to run tests in the browser in pretty much any device. And Karma can be easily integrated with a lot of frameworks for test writing, for example, Jasmine itself, or also can be used with Mocha. And it allows to control the test processes not only from the command prompt but also from the IDE. Okay, and the last one I'm going to install Karma Chrome Launcher. Karma Chrome Launcher is a plugin for automatically launching Chrome browser when the tests are starting, and it is installed separately. If we would want to use the code or see the code, test the code in other browsers, we'd have to install other plugins. Okay, so this is for the installation part. Next one is going to be setting up Karma config file. To create Karma config using Karma's own wizard, we just need to switch our direction to the application itself, the folder, and write in the command prompt Karma in its karma.conf.js. And Karma will take us to the wizard and ask us several questions. Which we're going to answer here. And in here we're going to put global part info JS files. Okay, there are no files matching this pattern yet, so let's leave it empty. And we want to watch the files, so we don't have to run Karma several times. Okay, so now we see the line that config file generated in this folder. So we can go here and check it. So web application, and here's our Karma conf JS file. Okay, and now we have Karma config file ready, so we can actually start testing. The application just runs smoothly in the browser. You can see it here. The console is clean, so there's no errors right now, but we still want to check the functions. We can stop the application, and before we actually start the tests right in here, we need to add files into Karma config file. We're going to need Angular file itself, Angular mocks, for the test file to mock our functions, JavaScript file with the code. I actually moved it here just to make it easier to test, and the test itself. This file means files and patterns which are going to be loaded in the browser that Karma is going to run. So let's write the file names here. It's good to use a global partner in case we want to have several test files, but in our case we need one, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, right now it's ready, and we can start writing the tests. First, we should describe the function we're going to run, and it's going to be my takeaway restaurant controller test. So we use the Karma syntax and write the code. That's the function. Okay, this is the start for our Karma test function, and before everything we want to pass the scope into the test, and for that we need to write the for each function. Oops. And we're going to have a model named my takeaway restaurant, the same as our application model name. I can even copy a file name from here. And also we're going to declare scope and the controller. Then we want to pass the scope and the controller into the test, so you can see our functions inside the scope. I'm going to use inject function for that, and for that we actually need angular mux. Without that it's not going to work. Function, and in here I want to pass loop scope and controller. So we should declare the scope. This word we're going to use in our tests. So should be root scope new. This means we're creating a new scope. And we're going to declare a controller to use. Restaurants controller, which is going to equals controller mate restaurant controller. And in here we have scope. So now we have before each function, which is going to run before each test. We're going to have the tests are declared by each word, and it has they describe what the test does. Let's just do a mock function. Let's have a function that will always pass. That had nothing to do with our application, but at least we're going to check Karma with that and start it actually after this test. So to make the test which is always going to pass, we just need to declare, for example, true to be true. So we can write expect true to be true. And now we can actually check that everything's done correctly. So for that, we're just going to start admin comment prompt. We're going to move into our project folder, which is a test app. And we have a Karma config file here, so we're going to have to write Karma start. And this function is going to start Karma with the browser and run our first test, which should always pass. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so Karma launched the browser Chrome, which we actually can use for debugging the application or task if there is some problem. And it ran our one test, executed 1 out of 1, and it was a success. Let's just check that everything works well. So we're going to make a dummy function which is going to fail. It will always fail. Function and we're going to write that we expect true to be false, which is never going to be true. Okay, so as soon as our Karma has a watch, it should run one more function. And now we can see that one function failed. One test out of two failed. And it says that my takeaway restraint controller, which are defined in the beginning, will always fail. And it failed like expected. So Karma is working properly, and we actually can start writing just normal test. Let's comment this test out so it doesn't ruin our statistics. So now we can actually test our real functions. So let's start with checking if scope is defined. We tested the Karma without dummy functions, and now we can start actually testing real application. So let's start with checking if scope is defined. This is good to have for the first test if you're writing, because with this function you can check if the test controller getting the real controller scope. And your spelling is pretty bad. Okay. You can see that Watcher notices that the file change, but has no caption browser. It's going to recognize soon. Okay, that went well. Let's write another function. And if scope's going to fail, we're going to see it in the error message. So I'm not going to check if the arrays are defined, because they are, and it can be separately checked. Let's just check some functions. So let's check if okay, so I have scope to be defined and pasta edit. So we see and check our test runner, and we see that our tests are executed and 3 out of 3 is success. Before that there were some spelling mistakes, which it should be, it's case sensitive. Okay, so what else should we check? Let's check, for example, that the modal is closed at start. And as soon as it's false right away, we can just expect submit show to be false. Let's see. And it really is. That's good. And now let's check that it opens properly. And as soon as we have a function that opens the model, we're going to call it. So we should submit. It's gonna take the button click of submit because it calls the same function that it does. So we want to expect scope submit show to be true after that. And let's see how that goes. So we have 5 tests and all of them pass, which is very nice. And we have another button that adds item to the order, and same that removes from the order. So we're going to write 2 last tests of adding an item and removing the item. So it should add an item to order as a function. Function. And item, and as soon as our array is empty in the beginning, we should just have this item, nothing else. And with arrays it's better to use to equal new item, like this. And let's see how that goes. 6 tests, all pass, good. And now we should remove it. Should remove an item from order. So function so first we need to add an item. I'm actually just going to add it to the same function, because we can just first, if it's added, then scope remove from order. Oops. Here. And we're going to remove the same item. And after this, we expect group order to equal So let's see how that goes. We still have 6 tests, and all of them run successfully. So we just check the main functions of our application, which were submit, which opens the model. We can just check if it closes the model, but I'm really running out of time here. We have arrays here. Some more tests can be used to check if some items are defined, but they're really useless because it's better to check if they're in the function already, so we know what the application is doing. So anyway, testing is very important to the application process because we know what to expect from the application and how it works, and it does the functions that we were expecting it to do. So this was introduction to Jasmine Karma testing. The video took a bit longer than I expected, but because I wanted to show everything like step by step. So now we have a working, very simple application, but pretty much the same principles can be used with more complicated applications and any function, so it can be checked. Thank you for watching.